You are going to get a treat today because we're going to talk with Wendy Nethersole. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Jim. I am so happy to be with you today. I've really been looking forward to this.
And I am speaking through the beauty of electronics. I'm speaking to you from northern New York State in the foothills of the Adirondack Mountains. And you're speaking to us from Asheville, North Carolina area.
That's right. We're both in mountains. Yep. Yep.
Yes, we are. We are. You have so many different things that you can do and you do works that you do. But today I want to pinpoint one area to talk about, and that is quantum consciousness. And you are certified. Let me read this from my notes. You are certified as a quantum consciousness facilitator from the Institute for Quantum Consciousness. So I note that the term quantum consciousness is used twice in that description of you. So I want to get right down to what the heck is quantum consciousness. I'm going to ask some questions to you about that. My understanding is that we are here in our bodies and we're here using what's called present consciousness. Is that right?
Well, I really feel that we are multidimensional, and this is when we talk about quantum consciousness, we are spirits living in a body, right? And so we are
Right.
so magnificent beyond what we really have ever dreamed or knew. And Peter Smith, as we know, is the founder of the Institute for Quantum Consciousness and was my wonderful teacher along with a wonderful team. We're working with the basically coming together between the huge field, quantum field, and our consciousness, okay? And so we're bringing science and really metaphysics together, science and spirituality, the science of possibilities and the all that is. So there's so many places that we can go with this, and I'm really excited to be able to talk about this with you.
Me,
Yes.
me too. Me too. As you said, we are spirits, and we're inhabiting a human body, and so. But as we're walking around, mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, and things like that, there is so much else going on out there in the all that is, I guess we would call it.
Right. Yes.
And I want to go through some of the different things that are happening at the same time that we're living in what's going on today, the nitty gritty of everyday life as a human. And but there are at the same time there's alternate consciousness going on. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about what that is, alternate consciousness.
Well, we talk about the many realms, okay, the many different
Right.
dimensions. And in our work, we're helping individuals to literally, it's like having in one of these sessions, the journeys, we'll call it a journey, quantum consciousness experience journey that we take people on. The client is moving literally like having an out of body experience. You might experience something like this in a deep meditation when you're deep at rest, listening to your favorite music. There's a number of different ways you may go there. And we've all experienced that. We've experienced that if we're having, lucid dreaming, maybe. So you find yourself traveling. I'm going to call it time traveling, right?
Okay.
And so
Okay.
we're facilitating an individual moving out into that expanded awareness. So that's what we're doing. We're helping people to
Okay.
move into that beautiful place of expanded awareness. I'm not
Okay.
sure I answered your question.
No, well, not exactly, but you set a beautiful framework for it. So in the quantum experience, the journey, we go from where we are and we don't go within ourselves. We're not looking within ourselves for anything in this experience. We're going out of our body mind connection and we're going into another level of consciousness where all these different consciousnesses exist. And that's why I want to kind of go through a little bit of what we may see as we're in the experience. Like there's present consciousness, stored consciousness, alternate consciousness, parallel, interdimensional, eternal. And those are all up for grabs. Once we go into this, we could go anywhere, right?
Absolutely. So let's just, if I could just mention, and what you're mentioning is so fabulous to include because these are all the different potential realities and
Right.
places that we
Okay.
may go. Because as the human, when I'm working with someone, The individual is our human self. We are a portal to the all that is, right? We're a portal to these other dimensions and realities. And
Let's stop right there for a second.
Mhm,
Let's stop because I think that's so important that we're not walking around thinking I'm a portal, you're a portal. We don't
mhm,
think that way. That's not our normal everyday thinking.
mhm.
And a portal, I guess, is that's something. It's a mechanism to move from one place to another. Is that right?
I think of it as an energy vortex, right? And
Energy.
so,
Okay.
like an energy vortex, I mean, the world is vibration, right? Everything
Right.
is frequency. I mean, we know this
Right.
from, that's a quantum principle. If we could look at everything under a microscope and get really down, we'd see movement. Even solid objects are moving. So, in this beautiful world of constantly moving atoms and these energy vortexes, basically, we're time traveling. We're moving in and out. We just don't we don't think of it like that because in
Right.
with my physical eyes, I'm looking at you, Jim, and I see you as a
Mhm.
solid person.
Right.
But we know that we're filled with the atoms and molecules and everything around us too. So these vibrations and frequencies are always there and around us. And wherever we focus our intention, then that's when quantum languaging, that's when we collapses into the moment, right? So the
Yes.
intention sets that everything coming into that one place of focus. And so what we're doing really with this journey is we're helping people to be able to just recognize their magnificence, okay?
Okay.
Who they truly are, beyond their wildest dreams, really, even. Most
Yes.
people don't think of themselves like that. So that's why we're moving out of the body where we may be thinking of past traumas or we have concerns or worries. We're moving into that place. And I'm going to talk to, I know you were asking me about the different realities. We're moving
Right.
into that place where we have
Right.
access much more easily to all of those realms. So, yes, here we are in what we would call our present consciousness. And
Okay.
anything that we remember, we're living in each now moment and the next one and the next one and the next one. And as we have those memories, that would be our stored consciousness reality,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so I can go to the past, the present, or even in this lifetime, the future, and access these places. Alternate, you spoke about the alternate reality, and alternate might be
Yes.
we have free will in our life and we make decisions, big decisions in life. We're getting married, we're going to college, we're moving to a new country. Many, many different decisions we make. Well, what about the paths that we didn't choose? Okay. There's a part of us that's alternate reality, the other path that is continuing on in quantum's continuing on. And so,
And let's
yeah,
talk about that a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
because I
sure.
know that in previous conversations that you and I had is that sometimes there are people that come to you and their intention when they do the quantum experience is to look at a choice that they made and to go down not the path that they took, but
Mhm.
go on the path that they didn't take and see how that worked out. Is that accurate?
Yes, we can do that. And I'll tell you one of the reasons someone might like to do that. A
Mhm.
client person might come and say, it's haunted me all of my life that I didn't end up taking that scholarship and going to Austria to study. And I really think perhaps my life would have worked out in a completely different way. And I just feel like I'd like to visit that particular alternate pathway and to see how that might have worked out. And so we have all of these aspects of ourselves that are continuing on in these other directions, living in the multi-dimensional quantum field that's us. And so,
Okay, is that a possible thing to do? That if I were to come to you, I'd say that's really driving me nuts, and can we try to go there or whatever in the quantum experience? Have you gone there with people? Have you gone to look at the alternative? Not to ask you the details of it because it's confidential, but
right.
have you done that before?
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing, in any session, in any journey, we are first of all, I think it's important to say that the first step, which is really important for a journey, is we create a high vibrational intention, which is what Pete would call the rocket fuel. Okay, so the rocket fuel
Okay.
for the journey. So we're focusing the intention, which is really important, on where do we want to go with this, okay?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
let's say if you and I were working, you would be saying to me, Wendy, I would really like to go check this out, this path that I didn't travel, but I've been wondering what's happening there. So you would set an intention. We would together
Okay.
talk about this. And when I could feel that your heart is singing, when you speak those words of your intention and you're like, this is it, I'm ready to go, then we go on that journey. We open up your journey. And I'm, as your facilitator, I'm guiding you. But of course, we know that your guides and angels and your soul is really right there for you. And anything that comes up in your session is going to pertain to your life now. It has purpose. And we'll be guided. So what we're doing with the languaging is I am working with guiding you here, and I am speaking to you, and you know that we're inviting all aspects of yourself to come forward that may
Hmm.
be able to share wisdom or healing with you with respect to your intention that you have set. So you've set the intention that you wish to invite any energies, aspects of yourself that may come forward from the universe, from any of these multidimensional realities, and the all that is, to come and share with you information about what we're going to call the other path, the alternate reality. And
Okay.
so
And
whatever comes forward, Jim, they're going to
mhm.
bring forward information to you about that.
Okay. And let me just stop back to something that you mentioned is that you as a facilitator, you're able to feel when it is that I've really embraced that intention. Is that right?
You'll feel it too.
No,
You'll
no,
feel,
I
yeah.
understand, but I'll feel it, but you'll know as my helper, as my facilitator.
Yes, feelings are so strong, as we know. And when we feel something, we have that experience. And I can tell when your eyes are lighting up and you get that. And I'm going to ask you as well, how does that feel to you? How does that
Right.
sound to you? And I'll
Right.
speak it several times and really see how it's working for you. And that may take a little while. I like to have, and we didn't talk about this yet, but with a session, with a journey, I like to have a preliminary, say 30, just a talk with someone so that we can discuss the intention and what it is they'd like to cover and have any questions answered, so that when we have the quantum consciousness experience journey itself session,
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't have to be in that headspace. You're really ready to go, and we'll double check that intention is something that is perfect for you, that you're really still feeling it. Because sometimes I will say that when I get to that point and I'm working with someone, they've changed it a little bit. They've tweaked it a little bit. And
Okay.
yeah, so,
Okay. Oh, that is so neat. So I want to read that little quote from part of a quote from Peter Smith, who is the founder of the Institute for Quantum Consciousness. And I'm going to read it now. Our philosophy is very simple. We hold the belief that every person on this planet is magnificent beyond their wildest dreams, waiting to remember who they really are. And we know that everyone has the answers that they already see. And I think that is such a strong and enlightening statement that he made. As we sit here and if we're out for coffee, we're sitting there drinking our coffee. At that same time, we are multidimensional and we are magnificent beyond what we're thinking of. We have no idea how incredible that we are. And I just love that concept is sometimes we go through life and we're kind of bogged down. Oh, things aren't going my way and this and that. But all through that, you're still a multidimensional, very powerful being. Could you talk about that a little bit, please?
oh, absolutely. This is what excites me so much about this work, because we sometimes, as we were studying, we'd talk about that, okay, for many of us working in the healing modalities, I might think of myself as a mentor or a counselor, but in this work, we take that hat off. We are not working as a therapist. We are working as a facilitator of consciousness with an
Mhm.
individual. And it's just so exciting to see those lights, a person's eyes light up, and as the aspects come forward that have been invited in at different points, and believe me, every single journey is completely unique to the individual, okay? And of course, would be, and according to the intention that a person has set. But
Right.
what we're doing is we're not chasing the trauma. We're working with moving out of the body and accessing the magnificence of all that's possible. And there's so much out there. And so all of those parts, all of those aspects that are through the intention that are being invited in,
Right.
then they may come in as a group. And as you and I both know, information comes in different ways to individuals. So I might be working
Right.
with someone who is, they're hearing, they might be clairaudient, they're hearing messages. They may tell me, as think you did at one point, that they're seeing colors or they're feeling
Yes.
energy. So all of our
Yes.
senses, literally all of our senses are involved. And
And
I'm just,
my emotions were involved.
oh my
No,
goodness, yes.
I had reaction to the experience and very strong feelings, and they were so genuine. And that, just to say quickly, the second interview that we're going to be doing in this series has to do with my quantum experience, and we're going to go through that. But yes, it's really, really amazing. I'm sorry I
It's no,
interrupted the
no. Oh,
flow there.
please. It's what I know this is true for me, and I think for most people, that when we have the personal experience, it becomes real, right? I
Oh
mean, I
yes.
can read
Oh
in a
yes.
book and I can be steady and I can feel the excitement about, oh, this happened to that person and this happened.
Right.
But when
Right.
it happens to us, then it's
Oh yeah.
real. Okay. It's more anchored in as experience. And so I love the different types of work throughout the years that I've done so much. It all builds on each other, as we know, and
Yes.
folds into the
Yes.
present.
Yes.
Um, and so in some of the other areas, I might be like, for instance, Akashic record work. Perhaps I'm receiving information for someone, obviously with their permission, and speaking it through. But when this is coming through me to them, when I'm doing this session, when I'm working together with someone in a quantum journey, they're receiving the information and I'm just facilitating to keep expanding as much as possible the awareness that I'm holding the space, I'm holding the knowing of their magnificence. And the more I think you even mentioned, the more that you feel relaxed about this and you're letting
Yes.
go of that need
Yes.
to figure out and analyze, and you're just kind of going with it. We're time traveling. Right? We're
Yes.
time traveling.
Yes.
And
Yes.
as you mentioned before, and this is a very good point that you brought up, Jim, it's not linear necessarily. Okay.
No.
We have these
No.
different realities that we can travel to, including, we didn't speak yet about interdimensional. Okay. We
No.
have the past lives, between lives, perhaps on Earth, but we also have the opportunity to have aspects come from off planet if that happens to be something that is perfect for you, and there's a message, healing and or wisdom that can come from an aspect of yourself that did not originally have Earth as a home planet. And we know that this is possible as well because this does happen with many individuals that I work with. And so when that energy comes in and some very, very wise messages that can come forward, sometimes it's a group. It might be a group that's coming and you're letting me know, or the person I'm working with is letting me know, I can see a whole group here. I feel a whole group. I see the lights. And then we might ask, is there one that would like to speak on behalf of the group? And so the message may come through the one, or the voice of all they'll let me know the voice of all might be coming through. It might just be a color. It might be a beautiful color, but the color has vibration and the individual will describe and express to me what it feels like, what they're seeing, how it might be shifting and changing. Is it coming forward? Is it moving away? There's so much that can be happening, but there's a lot of wisdom and healing that can come through. And this is the point of what we're doing, to have that experience and to just allow it to flow, just to allow it to flow. and we're going with it. And it truly, truly does open to the all that is, the all possibilities in the quantum field.
I love the point that you brought up that it's not channeled through the facilitator. It's not like a medium saying, "Hey, your mom says this to you." It's the opposite kind of. It's the person that's going on the experience. They're the ones that are receiving it. And like you said, it could be hearing, it could be seeing, it could be emotions, it could be all different things
It can
or
even be smelling. You might,
smell.
there are individuals that tell me that they're smelling flowers or something. Yeah.
Oh, neat, neat. Yeah,
Yeah.
any of our senses, right, can
Yeah,
be a message to us or help us get that message. And,
absolutely.
uh,
Now,
and
I will say that it's
go on.
possible. Now, I, as a facilitator, I might actually be sensing something, but
Okay.
I I might, and I'll write a note that we might speak about this later on, but I don't want to lead the client. This is their journey. This is about
Right,
them.
right,
And
right.
so I might make a little note just out of curiosity, and we can talk about that later as we're perhaps winding up. But this is all about what's coming through you, the person
Yeah,
in front of me that I'm working with. Yes.
yeah. Well, I can't wait to tell about my experience. One thing that you and I talked about that I really liked was the fact that it's our soul. Well, the way I understand it is that we're a spirit in a human body, and that there is an oversoul, or that which is like our main kind of brain headquarters of that knows everything about us and that is kind of running the show, and that it's our soul that is guiding us in the quantum experience. Is that right?
Sometimes I think that we have different terminology, different
Right,
people, okay?
right,
And so I would just say, I think of the all that is, that as you're saying, we absolutely are. So
right,
we're a soul, but we're living this human
right,
experience.
right.
And so when we're moving out into that limitlessness, you might think about it. I think it's a perfect analogy when we talk about being a drop in the ocean, yet the drop in the ocean is the ocean, right? So we have the
Yes,
experience of
right.
being in the ocean. And I do want to mention, because I think this is super important, that part of the quantum science that has been studied for a long, long time, it used to be that scientists believe, or there was a belief, that consciousness was held in the brain. And at this point, we realize it's not. Okay.
No,
Consciousness is not in the brain. Consciousness is a field. Okay. Is a field all around us that we access and we all have access to as a soul. And so we are so incredibly unlimited in that way. And part of that magnificence is our ability to access, as we're in that very open place, to be able to access these multi-dimensional possibilities. So I think, for instance, we haven't talked about near-death experiences, but this is a huge body of knowledge that's come forward and been studied for a long time about how consciousness survives passing out of the body. And
yes,
we've got some very well-known people, Anita Morjani, Eben Alexander, the surgeon doctor who did basically a lot of brain surgery. And I think until he had his near-death experience, I believe when I read his book, if I'm remembering correctly, that he didn't really feel that there was much to this, that people were kind of making things up, but completely shifted his perception when he himself had a near-death experience. And
absolutely.
then, yeah, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That
so
was it.
we know that consciousness survives the shift of passing out of the body. We know that consciousness survives this. Yeah. So it's not held in the brain, so to speak, right?
No,
Yeah.
no. One thing I also want to talk about was in the quantum experience, it really starts off with that high level intention. And could you talk about that a little bit, please?
Yes, this is so important. So one of the first things, as you know, when we're getting ready, we're preparing to have a journey. And so I will ask someone, what is it that you would like to accomplish? And sometimes people will say, I'm just curious about this. I'm just going to throw out some possibilities. They might tell me something like, There might be challenges, lifelong challenges with anxiety, panic attacks, feeling that maybe there's some low-level depression, or there's relationship patterns they would like to have better understanding of, or just in a wisdom and healing way. Okay, so I still do my past life and between life work, and it's what we're doing there is we are using some light relaxation and hypnosis. You're moving within. But in this journey, I'm listening very closely to what a person is telling me, reason that they would like to experience this journey. And so once we've talked about that, then we will start to talk about, okay, now the next step is we're going to create what I would call a high vibrational intention, a high vibration intention. And when I say high, what I mean by that is we're using language that is positive, okay? We're going to say what we want to create, what we wouldn't say, for instance, like, I don't want to be unhappy anymore in my life. So I just, to give you an example of what a high vibrational intention might be for someone. My intention is to embrace my magnificence with ease and grace. My intention is to embrace all aspects of my divine essence. My intention is to embrace my magnificence through beauty and creativity, all of my creative gifts. So you can hear in that languaging that the intention is using language of what we know is already there, because we also know that everything we seek is already within us. It's already there. But so many of us, we go through those times when, whether it's we have that mental chatter that's telling us we can't do it, or whatever it is that's perhaps standing in our way, but that's not the authenticity of who we are as a soul, okay?
Right.
We are magnificent beyond our wildest dreams. And so this particular journey is going to work with that intention that we've set, that, as I mentioned before, when you speak the words, you feel it. It's like, I want to say, it's how I felt when I first heard Peter Smith speaking in the Reincarnation Symposium of 2023. And when I heard him speaking and he gave some examples, I literally felt a lightning bolt like of energy strike
Oh,
me. And to me, that is for me, that's the clue of pay attention. Pay
right,
attention
right.
to what's happening in this now moment, because this is important for you. And so I know that the universe was sending me a message. This is important, pay attention. So when we create an intention, we want to feel in whatever way we receive those messages for ourselves, because it's different for each of us. But we know when we feel that enthusiasm and that excitement. And when it comes through, then it's like, ooh, listen up. Okay, listen up. And so it's an excitement. I think what's happening is the light. It's the light. We're beings of light. Okay, as a soul,
Yes.
we're beings of light. And so as our inner divinity lights up, then we know we've hit upon an intention that is going to fuel this journey in the way we wish it to be fueled. So that is why we create the intention and why it's created in that way.
That is so great. And in our next interview, I want to go into how the facilitator helps with that and how it all works. And we talk about my quantum experience journey as well. And I know that we could talk a long time about what is the quantum experience. And this has been really, really great. And I thank you so much, Wendy. And let's come back another time and do that second episode where we talk about the experience itself.
Jim, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity and to be able to share this amazing, amazing work with everyone. I think I want everyone to experience it, because we all want to know who we truly are, right?
That-
In this
Absolutely.
lifetime, and to create the life of our dreams. And I really feel that this work assists in that. So thank you so much for this
Oh,
opportunity.
I
I
hope
look forward to
yeah, you
speaking
well,
again.
I'm so excited, and I just hope that a lot of people get a chance to listen to this and the next episode, and I'm sure many more that we're going to do. And so, well, thanks for now, Wendy.
Absolutely. Take good care, Jim. Bye-bye.
Okay.